Okay. Have you revised any topics in the textbooks? Anyone? Have you revised any topics, ma? Okay, let's start today. I have completed up to branches of thermodynamics. What is classical thermodynamics and what is statistical thermodynamics and the differences and thermodynamic system. Next, surroundings, boundary, and here what are the characteristics of boundary? You have seen in the last class. And what is universe? System plus surroundings. And types of thermodynamic systems are closed system, open system, isolated system. Okay. Closed system means only energy will come in and energy will go out. And what about open system? Both energy and mass transfer will be there. Okay. And what about isolated system? What about isolated system? No mass transfer, no energy transfer across the system boundary. So these are the characteristics of different types of thermodynamic systems. Okay. And these are the main differences. And this is a closed system. You can see here. This is a closed system. Sorry. Okay. So this is the closed system. Okay. Having fixed boundary. And this is also closed system. But this boundary can be movable. So in a closed system, boundary can be fixed or can be movable. So this is a characteristic. Next. This is a open system. Here you can see. So this is a open system having real boundary as well as imaginary boundary. Comprises of what? Control volume. The surface of a control volume is a control surface. Remember, what is a control surface? The surface of a control volume is a control surface. Okay. And this is also open system. Energy is coming in and work is done here. Okay. Right. Next. Isolated system, you can see there is no isolated system in our surroundings, but we can approximate a few examples like universe is a isolated system, and kettle, your flask, tea flask is also, thermos flask is also a isolated system. Okay, up to here clear now? Everyone says, is it clear to everyone? Bharadwaj, Bhimesh, Divijesh, clear no? So we'll go further. Okay, so this is the important topic, concept of continuum. What is continuum? Continuum is, the name itself indicates a continuous. See, to study concept of continuum, you have to learn mean free path. First topic. Next one is Knudsen number. This is a Knudsen number. You have to remember this. These two are important in order to understand the concept of continuum. But we will go one by one. What is mean free path? Just read this. What is mean free path? The mean free path of a particle such as a molecule is average distance the particle travels between collisions with other moving particles. So what is this collisions? Collisions means, suppose assume that there is a room having gas molecules. What happens between a gas molecules? So the gas molecules will not be at one place. They will be traveling from one place to another place, right? In our room. So what happens? One gas molecule collides with another gas molecule. So the the distance between those two particles is called as a mean free path. But not exactly, but consider there are n number of particles. Okay, suppose n number of particles means 1, 2, 3, 4 up to n. Suppose assume that between 1 and 2 there is a distance called x1, and between 2 and 3 there is a distance x2. Okay, average all these values, you will get mean free path. Okay, n number of particles. Suppose x1 is there, x2 is there, up to xn is there. What you have to do? What are these distances? X1 is the distance between two molecules. Okay, x2, suppose this is 1 and 2. Okay, what is x2? Distance between 3 and 4. Okay, and what is xn? Distance between x n plus 1, n plus 2. Sorry, n minus 1, n. Okay, so what you have to do? X1 plus x2, so on up to xn by n. Okay, so this gives the mean free path. Understood now? Any doubt in this? No doubt, huh? Doubt is there. Okay, right. If you have any doubt in between, just raise your hand or give me a message. Okay, this is the mean free path. Next comes to Knudsen number. So just remember for examination point of view, not for your examination. That means gate examination. This is a Knudsen number. You just observe here. So Knudsen number is equal to lambda by L. What is lambda here? Mean free path. So you understood this point already. Mean free path. What is L? L means representative physical state. So representative physical state means suppose there is a system. Assume that this is a system. So the dimension of the system is L. Okay. There are two particles. The mean free path of the system is lambda. So this is lambda. So you have to divide lambda by L in order to get Knudsen number. Understood now? So uh, that means if Knudsen number is less than 0.01, if Knudsen number is less than 0.01, that means you will get a continuum flow. You must understand this, because suppose this is the system, lambda should be less than 0.01 L. Lambda should be less than 0.01 L. That means the mean free path, the distance between these two particles is negligible. The distance between these two particles is negligible compared to L. So you can neglect the distance between two molecules if Knudsen number is less than 0.01. Clear now? Up to here? Is it clear? Says, is it clear? If it is clear only, I will move forward further. Is it clear, ma? Rohit, Shiv. Okay? Okay. Oh, so representative physics. Okay, okay, I will explain again. So, so this is a system. Okay, the length I have taken as L. So this L is a representative physical scale in this example. Okay, in this example, I have taken a system of length L. In that, mean free path is lambda. Understood now? What is representative physical scale? Okay, right. Next slide. Okay. So these are some important points. Just have a glance here. So as microscopic approach is time consuming and in most of the applications it is not required to go to the details of the individual molecule and then taking out average. So suppose if you want to study a cylinder, engine cylinder, you cannot go to the details of each and every fuel air molecule, right? So you have to combine the effects of total fuel air molecules to study the combustion of the fuel air mixture. Okay, so that's why it is not required to go for the details of molecules. That's why we have taken Knudsen number as less than zero point zero 0.01. In that case only you cannot study the properties at the molecular level. Okay, now the second point, see, second point, the analysis the analysis possible when the size of the system is much larger than the mean free path of the molecules. So same Knudsen number here comes here. So what Knudsen number indicates is lambda should be less than 0.01 L. Right now, lambda should be less than 0.01 L. What it indicates? This is the mean free path. Should be less than the. It should be less than L. That means L is larger than, much larger than lambda. L should be much larger than lambda. Got it now? Next. So here lambda we are indicating less than 0.01 L, which indicates L is much larger than lambda. So this is the concept of continuum. You understood? You must understood. So this is the concept of continuum. Okay now? Right. Third point is, you see, in such situations, what happens to the individual molecules is of no concern, and the only interest to know the interaction between the system and surroundings. Such an approach is called as macroscopic approach. So, in previous classes, you have seen what is macroscopic approach, what is microscopic approach. Have you remember that macroscopic and microscopic? Okay, so macroscopic, the entire thermodynamics deals with maximum with classical thermodynamics or macroscopic approach. Inter, in turn, it connected to concept of continuum. Okay, so this macroscopic approach, this deals with continuum. Okay, this deals with continuum. So remember this; these are interconnected. Okay, and the last point, we may follow any approach, but the results should be same, as results do not depend upon the method of analysis used. So one thing is clear here. What is that? Both macroscopic, microscopic, both are both give same results, but the way of method is different for both. This is difficult. Microscopic is difficult, right? Macroscopic is easy. Even though both will give same results, we are considering only macroscopic. Okay, so this is the main point. Next we'll go to the next slide. Okay. Okay, next slide. So reason behind considering continuum concept. What are the reasons? Everyone should say now. What are the reasons? One by one. Lokesh, what are the reasons behind considering concept of continuum? Why we are studying concept of continuum? Okay, what is mean free path? Okay, he is not getting, so we'll go into details. Okay, so what are the reasons behind considering concept of continuum? See, first point, know what happens before and after a certain amount of volume. What is this? So know what happens means, so consider, we are just considering this is the system, this is our system. Okay, if I have taken a small amount, what happens? If I have taken a big amount, big volume of system, what happens? So this is we have to study. If you have taken small volume, medium, or big, so how can you say it is small, it is medium, it is big? There are some parameters, based on that only you have to say small, medium, big. So there are some points we'll study. Next, is density constant or varying? Generally we will take density as constant parameter, but in exactly it is not constant. So this is the main point we will discuss in concept of continuum, how density is changing. Okay, next, if it is constant, applicable to classical thermodynamics. See, in classical thermodynamics, density, not only density, all properties will be constant. But in statistical thermodynamics, properties is will not be constant. Remember this point, very important. Okay, next, if it is varying, go for statistical thermodynamics. So we'll study only properties which are having only constant value. This is classical thermodynamics. Okay, next, every property is calculated in my macroscopic approach because properties are having constant values. So in classical thermodynamics, we'll study only properties which are having constant value, but you have to know why the properties are constant in classical and why the properties are changing in statistical thermodynamics. Okay, so these are the main points you have to study in the next slides. Okay, so this is a graph you must see carefully, everyone. You must see the graph clearly. So delta m by delta v, what is delta m by delta v? Consider delta m as a small elemental mass, delta v is the small elemental volume of that delta m. Okay, so this is density. Okay, this is volume we are considering. That is what it representing is, as we increasing the volume, what happens to density? As we decreasing the volume, what happens to density? See, at a certain point of volume, the density is constant after this volume, but before delta v dash, the density is decreasing as well as increasing. Two cases are arised. Why the density is decreasing as well as increasing before a certain volume? So I have mentioned in the earlier slide that medium volume, small volume, large volume. So based on this delta V dash, you have to mention uh, which category is statistical, which category is classical. See, after this dash line, classical. Before this dash line, statistical. Say along with me. What happens after? What is the classical thermodynamics? Right or left? Right or left to the dash lines? Right is the classical, right? Left is, what is left? Right, statistical. Very good. So you need to study why this density is decreasing as well as increasing in statistical. So this is a small discussion you must know. So here, see, so this is the system I have taken total. This is the boundary. Okay, so this is boundary. Okay, and this is the system. These are the surroundings, and I have taken a mass delta m. See, you can see a white space is there, no? A white space, that is delta m. Okay, and the volume is delta v. So we are studying the density changes in that small area. Suppose I assume that there are 1 2 3 4 molecules are there. Okay, 4 molecules are there. Suppose, so we are studying at less than delta v dash. Suppose the volume has decreased to this line. Okay, this amount. So I am calculating density at this area. Okay, so I have taken a delta m mass, delta v volume, and in that 4 molecules are there. Okay, now I am calculating density at this area. What happens here? Is there any mass? Is there any mass at this point? Yellow color dot, yellow color space at this point. Yellow area. Is there any mass? Yellow, at the yellow spot. Only these are the molecules 1, 2, 3, 4. That's it. Remaining space is there is no matter here. Okay. In between the molecules, there is no matter. Only these are red ones are the molecules. I have shown this yellow spot. Here there is no mass, right? What happens then? Density. What happens to density? It will be zero, right? So at this spot, what happens? There is At this spot there is no mass. So that's why delta. So rho is equal to 0. Rho is equal to rho is equal to 0 at yellow shade. Okay, so now come to molecule. At this point, what happens here? Mass is there, so density will be having some value. Okay, you must analyze each and every point. You have to analytically think about it. Okay, so at this point what happens? There is a mass, so delta is not rho is not equal to 0. Okay, so at this point consider at this point, at the end of the molecule, what I mean, small amount is there, right? That means what? Rho is not equal to 0, but Consider this is row 1 and this is row 2. Row 2 will be less than row 1. Agree or not? Have you got this point? Shall I explain once again? Okay, okay, I will explain. No worry. So I am considering, so this is a system in that 1, 2, 3, 4. These are the molecules. Okay. Now I am taking delta V space, delta V1 space here. What happens here? Is there any mass? Mass is 0. What happens? Rho is also 0. Correct na? This point is clear to everyone, I guess. Okay. Now take another molecule. I am taking this molecule. Entirely this space I am taking. Call it as delta V1. Mass is, take it as 2. 2 units. What happens to delta? Is not equal to 0. Delta 1. Correct na? This point is also clear, I guess. Clear na? Okay, now take another space. I mean to say a small amount of space I am taking here. Call it as delta V2. What is this? Delta V2. Here mass will be less than 2. Correct na? It cannot be equal to 2. So delta 2 is also less than or equal to 0. So in first case it is volume, I am taking full volume. In the second case I have taken a small volume. What happens to density? Delta 1 is greater, delta 1 is greater than delta 2. That means you can say there are chances where density can be increased, density can be decreased. Correct na? How the density is increasing, density is decreased? Right, right. Very good. So everyone has got this. So very good. So this is a slide. So these are the uh, so now you can see density, how the density decreasing, density is increasing. So we don't want these changes. So we want only a constant properties. So that's why we are taking to the right hand side. So but how the density will increase? I sorry, how the density will be constant? That is also you have to know. Okay, how? Suppose I have taken a volume in that so many molecules are there. Delta V is increasing means number of molecules will be increased. No, see here, so many number of molecules are there. So if you calculate anywhere, density will have a constant value, approximately constant value. This point is clear? Clear now? Everyone? Okay, very good. So after 11 o'clock, after this session ends, once again rejoin the session, ma. Okay, na? We have to cover some topics. Okay. So I'll do one thing. I will end here, and please rejoin using the same link. Okay.